I've noticed that since I've got past 50, that I have started to be treated a little bit differently when I've been out and about. I've noticed that sometimes I may be in a queue and someone may just push past me, or a shop assistant may ignore me when I've spoken to them. I found that occasionally, even in like a family gathering, you'll speak or you'll have an opinion and it gets brushed off or ignored. And it made me think, why is that at this age that we have started to feel a little bit irrelevant? Hi, I'm Gigi, and I love to make videos for women of our age that want to feel relevant and purposeful and just enjoy life for how it is now, this whole different phase and chapter in our lives now that the kids have left home and maybe some of us aren't working. So today's video, like this, just got me thinking about how many of us do feel irrelevant now that we are that little bit older. And I don't believe that we should be feeling irrelevant at all. I think we don't feel it in ourselves, but we're made to feel irrelevant by other people. So how do we get past that? And I've got some tips that I really think will help. I've got one really good tip at the end of this video that is a bit of a game changer. So let's just get on to tip number one of what I feel will help us all. Feeling irrelevant is really crappy. It is. But I really think that there is a choice. Whether you are an introvert who is just happy to kick around home, read books, just watch TV, do cooking, not have to socialize with anyone, I don't see anything wrong with that if that's your choice. But if you're a woman that wants to spend her last 3 odd decades jumping up and down and brightly coloured clothes and full technicolor and wanting to be heard, then I believe that that's also your choice too. So I think, as I said, I do believe that feeling irrelevant's a choice. Some people are just happy to sit at home. I have an introverted best friend. She's quite happy to sit at home and read and cook and just potter around like that. I, on the other hand, am an extrovert, and I want to be learning new things, and I want to be out and about, and I want to wear bright clothes and red lipstick and all that. I don't think either of those is right or wrong. I think it's right for the person that it feels right for. We have pushed and strived just for years to get through to this age of always doing for everyone and always having to put us aside for everyone else. And I think now that we are at this age, I think there does come a time when it's nice for us just to be able to do what we want to do. So whether that's to fade off into the sunset quietly, good on you, nothing wrong with that. But if you also don't want to be made feel irrelevant by other people, by little comments or just little actions, then I think you just need to step up to the plate and be heard a little bit more. I'm not saying that it gets done in a horrible, nasty way. That's certainly not my way. But I do believe that sometimes we just have to step up to the plate a little bit more than what we do. So I do think that that is a really good tip, and the choice is completely up to us, whatever we want to do and whatever we're comfortable with. Another tip, dress the way you want. I think that we've earned the right to dress exactly how we want to dress. I think if we want to wear the big, bright, look at me clothes, then why can't we? I admire women that are just different looking. They don't care when they go out, they are confident. And they've got bright red lipstick, they've got the big glasses on, they're dressed really brightly, they've got their heels on, and they make no apologies at all for how they're dressed. And with that comes this confidence, and it just shines through. And I love that with women that are happy to step up and do exactly their own thing, because I think at the end of the day, we are always so worried about what other people are thinking. But in actual fact, I think they're all too preoccupied with themselves to even worry about us. And while we're all worried about what other people think of us, we stop living and we stop doing the things that really feel good for us in our soul, that makes us feel real purposeful and real relevant and happy. Another thing that we do on a very regular basis is the negative talk about ourselves. I I believe wholeheartedly that if we say to ourselves all the time, oh, we're old, we're fat, we're ugly, we've got wrinkles, oh, my skin's not as good as it used to be, or my teeth aren't as good as they used to be, everything's a little bit saggy, my knees are wobbly, the whole thing. Who's going to be interested in me? Who's interested in what I've got to say? I wholeheartedly believe that that self talk, you do start to believe that that's exactly what people think of you. And by the end of that week or the end of the month or the end of that year, you're not going to be walking as proudly as you do. You won't want to speak because you think no one wants to hear it. I do think that we are our own worst enemy when it comes to the self-talk. And look, I'm no different than any other woman out there when it comes to the negative self-talk. But what I've learned is that the more I negative self-talk, the worse I feel. And I'm just not prepared to let myself feel like that. I have the rest of this, like, as I said, probably 2 decades left. And while I'm worrying about how I look and how I sound and how I act, I'm not living the best life that I want to live. And neither would you. I think everyone is, as I said, just too preoccupied with themselves to be even worried about what we're thinking. So I think the negative talk really does need to stop for all of us. And we maybe some more positive affirmations. So, maybe you put on some weight. Well, who cares? Who does it really matter if you've put on some weight except for you? And if that bothers you, then you could try and lose a little bit of weight. Or, you might say that you haven't got the best clothes to wear out. Just wash them, steam them, put them on, do your makeup, do your hair, and you'll feel lovely. And it won't matter really whether your clothes are modern, up to date, or whatever. Not everyone can afford to wear completely brand new, up to date clothes. And we'll all have one or two special outfits that we wear for special occasions, and the rest are just kicking around clothes. So, you know, I think we put too much emphasis on that sort of thing and less emphasis on our self-worth and how we act. I think you could have the daggiest gear on, but if you arrive and you're shining and you're happy and you're really good company and very upbeat and very positive, it's not going to matter what you're wearing. Everyone's just going to be drawn to you anyway. Another tip is I don't believe that we should let other people's comments stop us from doing what we want to do. There will be people in the family or friends, you want to do something and they'll say, oh my gosh, you're a bit old to be doing that, aren't you? And quite often I will think, why? Who says I'm too old to do that? I'm not hurting anybody. At least I'm having a go. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But at least I'm having a go. And the next guy that's 30 might try it and might fail. So what difference does it make whether I do it or they do it? I think if you want to do it, regardless of your age, you should have a go. Age should be no barrier to what you want to do. Another good tip is stop hiding our age. How many times do people might ask us our age and we might drop a couple of years off it or say, oh yeah, just, in my 50s or early 60s, but we won't say our actual age. And it was really funny because years and years ago, one of my best friends was a librarian and it was her birthday and it was her 60th birthday. And I remember saying to her, oh, will they do a cake and all that sort of stuff at school? And she said, oh, well, they know it's my birthday, but they don't know it's my 60th. And I said, well, why is that? And she said, because once you tell people your age, they start to treat you differently. And I've never forgotten it. I've always remembered that comment from her. And I don't believe that So this is what I believe. I believe that if someone makes a negative comment about your age, that's their problem. That's not your problem. And if they treat you differently because of your age, then don't take it on board. Just brush it off. Brush it off and ignore it. You're the only one that can make yourself feel good or bad about whatever comment comes your way. So sometimes, I might get asked my age or whatever it is, and I'm 67. I have no problem with saying that I'm 67 years old at all. And quite frankly, I am really happy to have got to 67. I mean, I lost my dad at 40 when he was 42, my brother at 24. I've got girlfriends that have already passed away. I've got a friend that has dementia that's in a aged care. I'm grateful. I mean, I am truly, truly grateful to be 67 years old. And I'm proud of the fact that I'm this age. And I think whatever age you are, when you get to this age, it's a blessing to have got to this age. And we should be so grateful and not ashamed of our age. And I'm just not prepared to feel bad because I'm this age. I just want to feel really happy. Another tip also is to stop making other people feel visible and making yourself invisible. I think you have every reason to be heard and every reason to be listened to. So if you're not being heard and you're not being listened to, then say, hey, I've got an opinion on this, or this is what I want to say on this. I think you are more than entitled to have your opinion and your say and not feel invisible. As I said, I do believe it's your choice whether you want to feel visible or invisible. Speaking badly about other people is a bit of a no-go for me. I have learnt many, many years ago when I was younger, and I made comment on something that really probably was none of my business, and I may have hurt someone. I have learnt through the years, and probably more so now than ever, is not to discuss or not to gossip about anybody. I just find that if you go somewhere and you're not the one that gossips and you're not the one that talks ill of anyone, it's really uplifting and it's really refreshing to have that person at that table who doesn't do it, who has no bad opinion of anyone, who is just there to have fun, is to enjoy the day with everyone for all their quirks and whatever, accept everybody without feeling, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, they're going to comment on that, or they may not have liked that, or I should never have said that. If you don't say anything badly, no one can say anything against you. I remember someone saying one day, it's like going to the theatre. If you get there and you're the actor and you're on stage and you step out on the stage and there's no one in the audience, the play doesn't go on. So it's no different than if you're at a table of women and they're all having a little whinge and a carry on about everybody, and you don't say anything and you just only have nice things to say, you'll find that after a while, those women won't comment because they are making themselves feel very uncomfortable because you're not. I noticed a heap of time when I've gone out with friends that there's always one or two that will sit there and not gossip, but there's also the other two or three that sit there and just carry on and whinge about everybody else, and it's very uncomfortable. So something to think about. So do I do all these things for myself? You damn right I do. I wear what I want, and I'll wear that red lipstick, and I'll wear those bright shoes if that's the way I'm feeling. I do not talk about anyone negatively when I go out. I just don't. It's just not good for my soul, and I want everything that makes my soul feel good, and that's just one thing that just drags me down. So I don't do that at all either. I do try to be so complimentary to myself as often as I can. I'm not saying that I don't look in the mirror and think, "Ugh, yuck," whatever. I do that. And I think being on camera absolutely magnifies that. And that's something that I am really working on, to not be so concerned about how I look, how my chin's hanging or whatever, how I sound, how I act. I just want to be myself I just want to make some good content for other women who just are at this age. So then I do speak up at family gatherings if I've got something to say, and my family do listen. So I do feel that all those things I've spoken about are tried, true, and tested, and they do work. So you could try them. Oh, and there was another thing too that I think is really, really important, especially at this time of the year. So often we will get invites to things, and at the time we'll say, "Oh, would love to go. Oh, it's a month away. Yep, we'll be there." And then it gets a week out, and you're thinking, "Oh my God, I've put on so much weight. I've got nothing to wear." Um, and you ask what everyone's wearing, you think, "Oh, I don't have that," or "I can't afford to go and buy something else." Um, there will be clothes in your cupboard that you can wear. There will be. And it doesn't matter if people have seen them before. It just doesn't matter. As long as they're clean and they're pressed and you present well, that's all that matters, and you're happy. So I do think that if you do say yes, you should turn up. If you keep cancelling all the time, people are going to get to the point where they just won't invite you anymore because they feel like you're not going to come anyway. So if you say you're going to go, unless you've got a really good, valid reason not to go and it's genuine, don't cancel. Just go. You'll be known as the one that will always turn up, is always happy, is always friendly. And when you can't turn up, then they know that you can't turn up and it's genuine. So I think that's really important. We do like people and we do like friends that we can count on to turn up for us when we need to. And there's nothing worse than saying you're going to go and someone does all the catering. And if everyone cancels, well, you hear about it all the time. People do all the catering and no one turns up. My gosh, how embarrassing would that be? So just turn up. And you'll be known as the one that's very reliable and trustworthy and they can count on, which I believe is really important as well. And lastly, but not least, the most important tip is to stop apologising for your mere existence here. I think as we start to feel a little bit irrelevant, as I said, not from us, but from how others treat us, by us apologising all the time for everything just diminishes all the good work we've done over the years to build ourselves up. And I think it just starts to undermine our confidence, starts to undermine our soul. Don't shrink yourself down by apologizing so much so other people will feel comfortable. And I also think too that you can say no in a really nice way and be comfortable with it, and everyone will accept it. We need to show up in this world exactly how we are, because we're wonderful. We've got all these years of experience. We've had such the amazing, amazing life journey. We've had lots of things happen to us and we've experienced a lot. And with that comes a lot of wisdom and a lot of empathy. And we should not ever let anyone treat us any differently or for us to even feel irrelevant, because my gosh, if anything, we should be so relevant. So it's time to feel happy, relevant, purposeful, as much as you want to be. You are perfect. We are all perfect the way we are. We really are. We just have to step up to the plate for ourselves, because we're just letting ourselves down if we don't. And I also believe this world is so much better and so much more colourful when we all live unapologetically. That's what I believe. So anyway, thank you for listening today, and I will catch you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.